Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel and thank you for stopping by. Today we are going to install a Madstad windscreen on a BMW F750GS. So let's get into it. We got the little winglets here. I did go with clear, which hopefully I won't regret. I've done tint before, but it's caused issues trying to see stuff below the line of sight. Looking through the shield, that's the main shield there. The brackets and pieces are in there, so get it put on and go from there. I am out here in the garage. We are going to replace the windscreen, put on the new Madstad screen there. This is the original screen that came with the bike, and this one is the one that broke off and snapped in half in my Texas trip. Now we will get it replaced and see what it looks like. This is what we'll be using for the install today. This is a Moto Hansa tool roll specific for the BMW. There's nothing that I've tried to do that I haven't been able to do with this toolkit. It comes with sockets, an extension, your socket wrench, a bit driver. It also conforms into a T-handle, an assortment of wrenches, vice grip here, your bits, axle sockets, this Torx bits. This really has everything. It's been a fantastic toolkit and I keep it on my bike at all times. Let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is loosen these, and these are all T25. And we'll go ahead and spin those out the rest of the way, and then the shield will come off. So I did remove the screen, and now I have laid out all the parts to make sure that everything is there before we begin installation. And now I'm going to go ahead and start installing. We got the pop rivets out, and this is what they look like. It is kind of a bit of a hassle. I did have to sit there and work it for a minute, but eventually I got them out, and we're going to take this cover off and proceed to the next step. The next step, we're going to remove these T30s, and this whole middle piece here will come out. All 4 T30s have been backed out, and this whole thing will just come off. The next step is to install these brackets into the factory locations here using those 4 T30s that we just removed. We got these brackets installed here. It is knobs facing. You want to make sure the knobs are facing in, and again we did that using these T30s here, 2 on each side. Next step is going to be to install the metal center plate, so let's go ahead and get that done. For the center bracket install, we will use 4 of the short screws, 4 lock nuts, and 4 flat washers. We have the center plate installed here using these are 4mm Allen flat plastic washers, so you want to snug it up but don't over tighten. And then on the back is a 10mm lock nut. I put the bracket on, it didn't fit quite right. The mounting holes didn't line up, so you may have to push the bracket or work the bracket out while you work the screws in. Not a big deal, but just a heads up on that. So now the next step is we can put that plastic cover over it again, or you can leave it off and kind of go with the more mechanical look. I think I'm going to put the cover back on. Coming back to it here with the plastic cover back on, the knobs up here which you need to use to adjust with the cover on, it doesn't give, I mean my finger can't fit between there, it doesn't give a whole lot of room if you really work it tight and you need to break it loose. So I think I am going to go ahead and leave the cover off, just so that if I do need to adjust it, it's not a pain in the butt and it's much easier to do and handle. The next step is installation of our windshield to the brackets using these 4 long Phillips head screws, 4 rubber washers, and the remaining 4 flat plastic washers. So we're going to go ahead and prepare the windshield by setting it up, and we'll do that now. I went ahead and set up the windshield here. To put this on, it is the flat washer and the screw, you put the flat washer on top, screw through, and then the rubber washer underneath. It'll focus there. And then you're going to go ahead and put it on the bracket. So let's go ahead and do that. So we went ahead and took the windshield and stuck it on the brackets. There's 4 rubber well nuts that the bolts slide into. You may have to play with it a little bit to get them to fit in, but they will fit in. And the next step now is to go ahead and tighten it down. And as you can see here, these are the well nuts here. So let's go ahead and tighten it down. So we tightened it down and the windshield is now installed. With the rubber well nuts, you want to feel it and you don't want to over tighten. Once the rubber well nuts get a little bit of a bulge, you're good, and you don't want to over tighten those because you can damage them. So the next step now will be to install the winglets. The winglets attach to this screw here, and as you can see, I have a headlight protector in, which is occupying this space. So it's going to be interesting to see if the screws are long enough, because it's going to create some extra space. So I'm going to have to play with it a little bit and see if I can get it to fit. This is a number 3 Allen head if you have the alt-righter headlight protector. If not, it's just going to be your standard Torx bit. I was able to get the winglet bracket on using the headlight bracket bolt there. So that's already got a spacer on it because of the headlight protector bracket. If you do not already have something like that set up and you're just going from stock, you will need, these 2 screws, the 2 washers, and the 2 spacers. Mine, I didn't need that because it was already set up for it. So it would be, you replace this bottom bolt on each side. Next, we will go ahead and bolt in the winglet, and I will do that now. For the winglet, we need the 2 washers, the 2 medium screws, and 2 lock nut washers. And it's 2 on each side, so 4 total. The washer will go, washer and screw on the outside, and then the lock nut on the back, of course. So let's go ahead and get those put on. I have the winglet set up here, and because of the headlight bracket here, it's not quite going back and mounting like it needs to. We'll see, you can see the space between the screw and the bracket there. I haven't tried to start tightening it down yet. I am a little bit worried that it might crack or break. One option here is, if you have access, would be to grind this down a little bit. I do not, so I am going to just go ahead and try and see if the bracket will bend a little bit so I can get it screwed down. So the bracket does have some give to it, and I was able to just screw it down, and as it tightened, it moved the bracket or bent the bracket where it needs to be able to tighten up all the way, and everything is nice and secure now. So I'm going to do the same to the other side, and then it'll all be done. Winglets are on, and installation is now fully complete. You can see there. And also here on the other side. And the windshield is adjustable. It will go up, down, and forward and backward. This is an 18-inch. I sat on the bike, and I will admit this was probably a little bit tall. The 16-inch for me probably would have been just fine. We'll see how it goes. We now have the Madstad screen fully installed. I appreciate you guys stopping by and checking out the video. If you enjoyed the video and found it useful, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification button for future videos. I appreciate you guys.